know what we're going to call this, but it's just going to be some general thoughts after rookie camp here. I hope the elegant microphone setup I have here of the microphone clasped onto my hard drive with all of our pictures and videos ever on it. I just wanted to do some like post rookie camp, and we'll try to do these for training camp, whether it's Jade and I or myself. I think Miracle's coming up on one of the days for training camp, but just what we saw at camp. I will say, before the rookie camp actual roster got out there, there was a captain skate. You get some of the actual NHL roster out there. Cool to see some of the new guys, the 3 new guys that they have, and Matt Murray, Ryan Lindgren, 4, sorry, Freddie Gaudreau, and Mason Marshman. I was like, Mush is in there. But I forgot about Freddie. It was kind of funny. A few of us, Darren, RJ, were like, it's hard to differentiate Freddie Gaudreau and Chandler Stevenson from far away just because of the giant mustache. Thankfully, one wears 89 and one wears just the 9. I don't know. Not too much stood out from this, and I feel like you can only take so much
from day one.
Considering that, shake off the rust.
Yeah.
The coaching staff really isn't out there. Colin Zulianello, the goaltender coach, was out there, but that was about it. So I'm not going to take much stock into it, but the things that I thought were at least like, hey, maybe this is something to look forward to as we get into training camp itself. Freddie Gaudreau was shooting the puck quite a lot, which, good. Could use some more of that. Joey looks good. I know he's been posting on his YouTube, and I haven't watched the last video, but I think the teaser he posted was like, yeah, I'm buzzing. And he seemed pretty in form right there. And it was interesting. I know, I was talking to a few folks like Everett Fitzhugh, and obviously, again, with it being player-led, you don't really take too much stock into it. But it was interesting to see some of the lines. One of the ones that stuck out to me that I told Jade about was Mason Marchment, Matty Beniers, and Capo Caco. That's could be an interesting line. I know Jade is a 17-10-84 believer. So again, we'll see. That's the other reason I knew to not take too much stock into it was Ty Cartier was on a line centered by Shane Wright and Mitchell Stevens. I'm like, if we're putting Shane Wright back on the 4th line again, this is going to be a problem. But yeah, not too much on that. Otherwise, it was kind of interesting. This is day one. Admittedly, it was partially trying to get some questions together for Jacob Melanson. Going to write that up. But interesting to see the guy that they traded for from Philly in the Flyer system, John Randall Avon? We'll get it right. Out there. Totally didn't realize that he was going to be out there. I mean, it makes sense with, he's going to be part of the HL roster, I imagine. I think my biggest things, Jade, were, and this is obvious, but Berkly Catton, is your clear leader here. Oscar Fisker-Molgaard, at least from some of the ice time that I saw, looked pretty good. Outside of that, I didn't see too much. Blake Fiddler's size really stuck out to me. I'm like, that's a big boy. Because I think the only one, he's tied in height with some of the other blue liners. Where'd he go? Oh, no. He's just an inch shorter than Ville Altavainen. So you've only got one blue liner that's bigger than him. And it's also fun to look at this goaltender tandem. I know in years past with the goalies they've had in the system, I'm kind of like, But, we've seen Nick Coco, at the AHL level, and then even at the NHL level. It feels so long ago, right?
Yeah.
And, with how many games Joey played, it was just kind of like... and then Victor Osman, had such a great year in the ECHL and had some good games in Coachella Valley. So, I don't know. Not too much, again, from me personally. I don't know. What did you see just from, what we got to watch from day one of rookie camp?
Yeah, I agree with the focusing a lot on Catton. Like you said, that's the clear leader going into all of this. I always forget how big Yanni Niemann is. Every time I see him, I'm just like, okay, yeah, you're large, which is a good thing, obviously, but so that was another thing that kind of stood out to me. It seems like he's bulked up a little bit since the last time we saw him. He just kind of looked a little bit bigger, more solid, I guess. I was focusing a lot on the new guy, JR.
John Randall.
Yeah. I was super intrigued by him. A lot of my friends that are Philly fans were big fans of him, and super bummed that he left. So I was kind of keeping an eye on what he was doing. He's quick, which is good for them. I don't know. I'm kind of excited to see what ends up happening with him. And then there was somebody else, but now I can't remember who it was.
It's a good point on Newman, though, at least to go that maybe buy you some time here.
I don't know.
Oh, no, we're getting back into it, right?
Yep.
You know, with Yanni Newman, like, he impressed a lot of us, right? When he was up with the Kraken this past year, whatever. And it's interesting because this is an NHL roster that's going to be pretty full. But there are guys who are going to push. Berkly Catton, as obviously that's like, I was talking to a few folks today, like what are the storylines in rookie camp? And I was going to put something out about it. I still will. I'll get down there to the ballpark and I'll figure that out. It'll probably be super basic. I think more so would be the training camp ones, and I'll work on that too, and probably get some stuff from you guys on what you think about it. But he brought some physicality, he brought some size. Obviously, so much of the talk with Newman when he was called up was his shot, right? And so, if there was more space, I'm sure it would be more clear. But I feel like the problem is you don't have a lot of, space or leeway. Otherwise, you're getting rid of veterans, and the Kraken are just such an interesting place.
Yeah.
Right? They're not clearly doing one thing or the other, it seems. So, yeah. No, he will be fun to watch. I feel like there's some certifiable, like, top dogs in Catton, Yanni Newman, Carson Rakoff, maybe you could put in that. Ryan Winterton's been up, but at least in terms of, like, elite end talent, Catton, Newman, typically Furcus would stick out there. It was kind of funny. I was talking to Jacob Melanson and I asked him, I was like, because we do these interviews, right? And I try to not make them super all serious, all hockey, or, dependent on the sport all the time, right? Because, these guys, they answer so much, whether it's here from us in local media or when they go on the road. And I said, okay, it's my show. I can do what I want. I said, who talks shit the most? And he was like, oh, Jagger Fergus. I was like, really? Jagger Fergus of all people?
That's kind of shocking.
I know. Like, one of the smaller guys, I'm like, buddy, can you back it up?
Yeah.
If someone gets into it. So that was kind of fun. He's another guy, hopefully keep building up for the AHL, right? But, at the end of the day, we talk about, there are the two avenues here. One, you do have some exciting forwards who, will push, hopefully, for an NHL spot. On the other hand of that, you will probably see, obviously last year was so interesting for Coachella Valley because it's more of this wave of prospects now. You'll see a lot of those guys take a leap, hopefully. In the HL, you talk about John Randall Levon. I don't know if he cracks the spot. Again, this is day one of rookie camp. A lot can happen. But it will be interesting to see, how he looks. He could be a guy who, turns out to be a fun addition. Who knows? There have obviously been a lot of different avenues to get to the NHL level. Ty Karche didn't necessarily have the most convenient or, normal way. So, yeah, I don't know. It'll just be fun to be able to see how this all shakes out, and then when we do get to cuts, who will help fill out that AHL roster. Is there anything maybe else that stood out to you from day one besides it being cold again in the rink?
Not particularly. The cold is very welcome, though. I'm a fan.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting.
But yeah, nothing super specific stood out to me today. Like you said in the beginning, it's just kind of shaking off all the rust and getting back into it.
Yeah, no, it just, it's so funny because you've got so many of the higher end forward prospects in Catton, Furcus. Molgaard's pretty high. Doesn't get as much shine as some of the other guys. It's a big year for Goyette. You know, didn't have the greatest year in the AHL. You know, Newman, O'Brien, your first-round pick. Carson Rakoff scored a lot in the OHL, hasn't necessarily gotten that in the AHL. You know, maybe we forget about Edward Chalet after he's had to adjust, and he had a better year in the AHL this past season. And then obviously Ryan Winterton spent cups of coffee at the NHL level. So you've got the forward talent, you know, and even if 2 of these guys make the roster, you still got pretty good option.
Yep.
You know, so no, it'll be fun. And then defensively, you've just got so many guys from the WHL. You know, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Five guys of your defenseman prospects who are WHL guys who are going to kind of start to take over. And then I always liked Ty Nelson. I always liked him, one of the smaller guys who's got a big shot, a great personality. So, yeah, I don't know. Just kind of one of these more casual things. Jade was like, are we going to be here for like an hour? And I was like, no.
Well, you never know.
No. Just to kind of, you know, what we see from these, because, you know, especially with these being during the day, during the week, not everybody can get out to these. So just trying to provide more of a look into what is happening at these if you can't come out to them.
And with them closing them a little bit more often, too, it'll be nice.
Yeah, like tomorrow's is close to the public. So I'll probably try to do one of these tomorrow so people have some idea of what took place. So until we see you next time, as always, take care of yourselves, be well, do whatever you can to make today a great day.
Hey, Charles.
Hey, Jen.
Hey. Where are you going to watch all those Kraken away games?
Kraken away games, making a push. I was thinking of coming here just because Rough and Tumble is the home of Circling Seattle Sports, only if that's okay with you.
I mean, I love that idea. Hope to see you here.